Good morning. I started streaming every other week just because I feel like it makes more sense, gives me more time to write. Also, lets me reset a little bit before the stream. So, welcome. Today, Fractured Paintings, a release that came out in March of this year. So, still relatively recent. This one's super interesting, in my opinion. But not to get right into that, I've been spilling so much water on myself. I got this like absurd 1800s type water bottle to drink right out of that has a top. So I just spill less water on myself before these streams. Another bad habit I have, I mean, obviously I got this for other reasons too. It's just really practical. Um, Another thing is I feel like half the time I talk to you guys, I'm sunburnt. So I'm still a little bit sunburnt. I need to get better with this. The weather's been great here in Los Angeles. Um, in my neighborhood, such a big city. It's been very sunny in the kind of mountainy areas. So it's been a great reason to go outside. I try my hardest for sunscreen, and it always fails on me because I don't want that super chemically stuff. But anyway, this is from tennis yet again. Um, I'm sure there's going to be lots more of sunburn in the future. I'm sorry about that. Super burnt all the time. But it's nice warm day. Just going to be writing all day today. Kind of popping in to talk a little bit more about fractured paintings, a little bit more what I've been up to, as well to follow. So stick around after fractured paintings listen through, and I'll just share a little bit more about my plan and all that. So again, good morning. Every other week, I'll be streaming in 2 weeks. I have a release coming out next week, but we'll talk more about that later. So, Fractured Paintings is 3 tracks. It's going to be number one, Fractured Paintings, then Chasing a Ghost, and Giants. So, here's Fractured Paintings, title track. I'm muting my mic. I was going to stop right there, which is just the intro for this. Is the whole intention for this EP to get things moving was to just kind of start with this cacophony of it's cacophony anyway, of like a kaleidoscope of sound, right? So I know it can be a little polarizing. People are like, I like the rest of this except for the intro. So that's fun to hear on my end. But I don't know. I thought it would be fun. It's so colorful. The idea was like this kind of over the top melodrama, but with full of color. The album cover is Ryan Cassidy again, in his style with that kind of um, reworked multimedia feel with high contrast saturation values, just to kind of create this feeling of intensity, maybe a little bit of fun, almost like a puzzle. But I'm just gonna keep playing it. Just that intro that you heard is just something I know is a little polarizing. I went for it. I tried it. Um, I like it. I think it helps separate this from other releases. But I'm gonna keep playing. Obviously, piano melody, a lot of strings and organ. So like it's almost more like kind of like a carnival sound or something. Organs, clarinets, oboes, very reedy, woody, and airy. I like the piano melody though. I think it's okay. I think it's solid. Okay, then a big hit on the brass and saxophone. So there's contrabassoon and saxophones. I think saxophone. I haven't listened to this since March. I heard trying to move forward. So yeah, now you get a different version of the piano coming in, right? You get that delayed piano hitting you right in the center. I played around with sound design, so you probably just heard the strings kind of fade out into reverb in like a hall. And now we take things down a notch. We mellow everything out from such an energetic release, these 3 tracks. Got a little bit more emotional here, right? You know it's gonna come down. It's gonna come back to reality of just this chaos. There it is. We've returned to that whole personification of the idea of fractured paintings. Colorful, a little playful. Like I said, almost like a carnival. This release of instruments. Harpsichord, very baroque, melodramatic, pounding with trumpets. I love that bass there. Now everything's just moving and going. Piano's going crazy. Trumpets, harpsichord. This is slightly inspired by Michael Nyman, who's a British composer from minimalism. Slightly, in terms of the woodwinds he uses. And that's it for fractured paintings as a I think a pretty accurate way to sell this EP. I think it really helps you get into the kind of melodrama and sound design focus of this EP. Second track is going to be Chasing a Ghost. Now, this one has had more success as just a. I kind of tried to make this one more tame, more of like a kind of something that you can kind of have on in the background, but also something that has, I think, a convincing melody. Chasing a Ghost. Unfortunately, with this one, I feel like my favorite part is the end of this piece. I think if I wrote this again, I'd put the ending at the start of the piece. So there's actually lots of electric guitars in this. You probably don't associate me with electric guitar. I use a lot of ambient guitar in my work. It's in the background if you can pick up on it when you're listening on your own. Good for you. It's tucked in there, it's hidden, and hopefully it adds a little bit. Just piano, strings are going away, guitar is out. This track is doing, or has done well in the UK for some reason. So thank you. Back into that driving string. So the same melody that the piano is playing just 5 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago is in the strings. Then segue into this new little piano melody. This ascending line just keeps going up and up. Delicate. Now this is the part that I think should have gone at the start of the piece. So my bad. Maybe you don't agree. Maybe you do. Let me know. And then there's a delay. So I started ramping up the delay on the piano. This is my favorite part of the whole piece. Chasing a Ghost. It's in and out pretty quickly. It's kind of like Fractured Paintings, where you have this quick little intro of the entire feel of the piece, and then it just kind of quiets down, and then gets more spastic almost in some sort of way, or more chaotic. It's probably a better word. And I like it. Like I said, this is more of like a instrumental kind of traditional classical piece compared to Fractured Paintings, which is probably what you guys know me more from. And then that last track, Giants, is going to be a bit of a departure from my usual sound. So this whole piece, this whole EP, is a little bit of a departure from my sound. I've gotten away from this art style in the album cover. I like it for this. I liked it back in March when this came out. Um, but I've gotten away from that like kind of tight, close organ, woodwind kind of sound. And I've gotten kind of more back to what I think is more of a signature thing for me, which is like those marimbas, percussive stuff, ambient piano, and really nice like brass usage that I've been working on in my latest stuff. But this EP is definitely like for me a little bit of an outlier, um, and it can be a little bit more polarizing. I totally get it, but for me, it's nice to just kind of do something different and try a different sound that's a little bit more colorful, a little bit more melodramatic, and a little bit more playful than usual. So we're gonna end with Giants, which is kind of written almost in a little bit of a trailer music sound. I feel like saying trailer music cheapens it. I just meant that I was hoping to kind of capture some of the beats of a trailer in terms of like the drums coming in, hitting you, and little sound effects here and there, as you're hearing all around you right now. Lots of guitar, a lot of sound effects in the background. Okay, now it's kind of just like a chill, kickback kind of thing. It is really fun to write in this style to get things kind of moving a little bit in like a more traditional cinematic world. So hope you guys like it. Brass swells, everything. These are French horns on your left. There's actually a synthesizer or two right in the middle of the mix, so like right where your eyes would be. I have to bring in violin. Those high percussive violin strikes. And there's trombones on your right. Lots of synthesizers. And then, of course, I have to end with like a trailer-ish piano. I just felt like I had to. And that kind of almost cliffhanger is what as you guys know, I love to do, and all that on something like this. So just Fractured Paintings, like I said, I wonder what you guys think about it, because to me, this is my first time listening through since it was released. I had some super supportive comments when this came out, and it's been used in a lot of videos and whatnot, as are a lot of my music. That as is a lot of my music that tries to follow in a similar kind of um, colorful world. But I wonder what you guys think maybe of how this fits into like my larger catalog, because Fractured Paintings I like as the first track. Like I said, was a little more polarizing for a lot of my audience. Chasing a Ghost was kind of more like what people kind of expect from me, and then Giants is like me just trying to make more of a pitch for um, like film trailery type of sounds, something that may be a little bit bigger. Because you know, at the end of the day, I think I'm known to a lot of you guys as primarily like an ambient composer or a classical kind of relaxation composer, and I sent out a poll, um, and a lot of you guys answered, and kind of the majority was saying like classical and relaxing is what I expect from you. And sorry, I had it muted for a second. Um, I agree. I'm a classical composer, you know, fully indoctrinated into that world, and well experienced with writing, and I love it. Classical pianist, and my writing and everything. But it is really fun to play around with these kind of more colorful worlds for you guys. These more like cinematic, bombastic kind of sounds, because I need to not always write in one sound. Um, that's also why I have like the Eden Avery kind of alter ego for some of my more uh, kind of not cinematic necessarily, but some of my more production heavy music that you'd expect in something like that. And then I have obviously myself under Trevor Kowalski, have stuff that really speaks to me personally, and that I want to put out for you guys and showcase. So between all of this, it's like, you know, if there's a release that comes out like Fractured Paintings and you do see such a big departure from my style, just know like I'm always going to keep that classical side alive, that ambient side alive. It's always going to be there, because I know that's what a lot of people want from me, and something I love to do for you guys. But just bear with me, you know, when I do these bigger releases that are more loud, and more dramatic, because it's great, and I have that side of my work, and I get a lot of licensing opportunities from that side of my work, showcasing that kind of sound. But you guys get it. Um, you know, I can't do the same thing all the time, because then it just gets stale. So I got to mix it up. But this was a fun one. Fractured Paintings is good to write. Ryan Cassidy, as I said, did album art, um, and it came out relatively recently, like 4 months ago. I'll probably get to a new release in 2 weeks, because I have a solo piano track that's a little bit of a more dramatic take on like some of the more complicated feelings you'd have in the summer that might come up. So that's kind of all I'll say about it. But it's a very raw piano track. It was very spontaneous, and it's something that I think has a solid melody, which is really important to me. And I know that you guys like melody. So I have a track coming out, I think on July 7th. Um, and like I said, these live streams are moving to every 2 weeks. So I'll talk about that in 2 weeks. But keep an eye out for that video, that release, I mean, for the piano track. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube when this is uploaded, come join me on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you. So please, yeah, keep an eye out for the latest track coming out. If you want some solo piano, with a little bit more of a complex feeling, but with a strong melody, that's coming out. And thanks for just listening to all this. Thanks for listening to me talk. And as always, I'm really happy to share with you guys. You guys are the best. So thank you. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. This new formatting is better. I think 2 weeks is better. So anyway, take care. Bye.